Again, I don't
Victor,
remember.
it's Victor. So today we are live with Mac, and we're going to be doing optimizations, talking about Amazon optimizations, product listing optimizations, and really just how to increase the conversion rate of customers that come to your Amazon listing. Because as you know, it's super important to gain that traffic, but it's also important to convert that traffic. So that's where Mac is really specialized to create that Amazon optimization process. And he'll give us a quick intro of who he is and what he does, and then we'll dive right into the Amazon optimization portion.
That's perfect. Thanks, Victor. Let's have some fun here.
Yeah.
So guys, my name is Mac Schlesinger, and my company is Bestseller Listers. So I've been involved personally in Amazon for the last 10 years approximately. I've been doing all kinds of different business models in Amazon, like the drop shipping, retail arbitrage, and private label, and everything. So I'm not gonna go into the whole story, but basically, like 4 years ago, I started Bestseller Listers, which is we are marketing agencies specializing in the creative part, which is like creating the content, the listing writing, the keywords, the photography, the graphics, and everything. Everything came from inspiration from my past history and working in Amazon, working on my companies and other companies. That's where I gained all the experiences and knowledge, and then that's when I realized that my purpose and my real strength is in the creative part. So that's why I started focusing on that. I mean, it happened by accident because people started asking me to do it for them, and I was like hesitating, because I wasn't used to the service type of business. But people pushed me into it, and I got into it, and Baruch Hashem, I'm very successful at it, and we keep on growing. We keep on adding services and different companies, sister companies, to help Amazon sellers grow their brands and sales.
Yeah, that's great. And that's a great way to start out. I guess starting out, as we know, the main image is so critical to every Amazon seller. That's the one that's people are going to be seeing in their product page, or like when people going through the search results. It's
Mm.
very critical to really nail down that main image to really make it successful.
Right.
What are some things that you've seen and little like maybe image tricks in photography that basically help increase people clicking on the listing and help people convert on the listing as well? What have you
Right.
seen?
So as you know, these days we don't have many options when it comes to the main image, because Amazon is trying to restrict all that stuff, the different tricks that we used to do, like adding like text or pack sizes or whatever, like other images, like lifestyle. So right now we're a little bit limited in what we can do, but what what we can do is like basically making sure that the main images are always professionally photographed. It's not like don't try to get away with like a cell phone picture or like I mean, sometimes the 3D markups. I mean, for some products it's crucial, but if you can do like real professional photography, then go this route and make sure that the quality like the picture is really popping. Although it's only like a white background, at least the picture should be like really clear and like have real clarity. It should be the right angle, like the right angle and the right pixels, like the right size for Amazon, to make sure that it's when a customer goes through the search pages, your products should pop up.
Yeah. No, it's really critical. Like I've seen, I did another case study where we made the image, we took away the white space and we made the image like 65% bigger
Yeah.
of just by taking out as much white space as humanly possible, and made the product look bigger essentially than
Yeah.
it was.
Mhm.
And that increased conversion rate on the listing by we got a 50% sales increase, but just by changing the main image, by
Yeah.
increasing the size. It was crazy. So changing that main image and A/B testing different maybe potential angles, 3D mock-ups in the supplement space is like critical. Having 3D mock-ups, we A/B tested that. That worked really well. And too bad Amazon doesn't allow the call-outs anymore.
Yes.
But we still do call-outs on the packaging.
Oh
And
yeah.
like we put like we just Photoshop call-outs on the packaging itself, so that way they don't come to us and say, "Hey, you can't have call-outs." It's like, no, it's part of the packaging. So we've gotten away with that pretty well.
Yes.
So those are some optimizations. Is there any more that you've either with infographics, main product images that you would recommend an Amazon seller to do?
Yeah, so definitely, as you're saying, the packaging. So it's always sometimes sellers are debating if it's worth it, if it's worth it, like to spend money and invest money in packaging, since they're not like a huge brand yet, But especially, it's also good for the main image. Sometimes if your product is like a very boring, I don't know, I happen to have it like a plain pen. Imagine if it's just a pen. I mean, it's not gonna stand out. But if you have like beautiful, unique packaging, you can add it on the main image. This is gonna make it like stand out, pop out. If you have like popping colors or whatever, that's one thing. And the other thing is also the angles. I have it so many times when clients come to me, they say they want the main image like everyone else, because it works for them. Do it for me as well. But I mean, I have no problem. But my recommendation is, if you want to stand out, just twist it a little bit, like put it like a different angle, like something like when someone scrolls down the page, they should see that you're here. It's not like the same as other 20 listings on the same page. So it's like nice packaging, as you said, like cut out the white background to fill out the whole picture, and switch the angle a little bit, think outside of the box, and and have like real clear, high resolution images.
Yeah. Yeah, those are all really great optimizations. And when you're optimizing either bullet points or titles, what have you seen, like the way I optimize titles right now is I do the 5 words, and then I do the dash, and then to basically do the conical URL thing, and then I do all the keywords after and kind of put as many keywords as possible. What is your thoughts on making titles and optimizing them that way?
Yeah, I mean, it's also like it's a certain how do you call it? Like a certain process and structure, right? So it's like the first, obviously, first start with the main keyword. So it's not only for the keyword; it's also for the customer to see what is he seeing here, basically. So like there should be like a very clear phrase, so, for the SEO and for the customer, and then continue with like also to make sure that the main feature or the main uniqueness that your product is unique or whatever stands out should also be in the title, not only hidden somewhere in the bullet points, the description, or in the pictures. It should be in the title. So it means to say that it shouldn't be so SEO focused. So it should also be like very customer friendly. So a customer that only looks at the title should see right away what your product is and why it's better than others and what it does. Like,
Yeah, then that's a great point. I think a lot of us do like stuff keywords in there, but it makes it where the user doesn't really understand what they're reading, how much keyword stuffing we do. So I think that's a really relevant point to also adapt it for the customer experience, because that can be very important too.
right. Hold on a second. Let me just. Your head is like. Over here.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I have a really big head, so that's just like how it is. But yeah, for the most part, another thing is bullet points. I don't know if we still get 10 bullet points. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't looked last time, but what is your thought on how to structure bullet points and how important are they on the current SEO when it comes to ranking and everything else?
Yeah, so the bullet points, obviously, it's the next level from the title. So the first is the title, and then there's the bullet points. I mean, sometimes here the search terms and search terms is like a separate thing. So regarding the front end, is the bullet points, and the bullet points is really like a space where you can really point out your main features that you don't want customers to miss, like um, whichever feature you added, whichever benefit you added to your product that was going to help customers. You have to make sure that to write it in the bullet points. Basically, each bullet point should focus on a different on this, because most products have like the main five features, that they want customers to know. So that should be written out in the bullet points, and obviously it shouldn't be too long, because sometimes you see listings like it looks like a whole paragraph, like all 5 bullet points. Because the problem is the way Amazon presents the bullet points, like there's no space in between each bullet point, so it's like it looks like a whole you're reading a book, So and customers don't have time for that. It's just like you have to understand that they're not only looking at your listing, they're looking at 10, 15 other listings. So they just want to know quickly what your product does and if it's for them or not. So it has to be very clear, maybe like 2 lines per bullet points, starting with the capital. It's a debate lately if Amazon stopped it or not, but for now, I think it's still working. So start with the benefit of the capital, and then write out the feature that makes the benefit this, and just focus on all the main features that you want as a customer to know what you're looking for and what you want to buy.
And what I think it does a really good job of explaining what the product does is the A+ content, because you can really tell a story of having that graphical element and some portions of that text, and it does a really good job of explaining that process. What do you see that works the best in A+ content? And what I find it very frustrating is in A+ content, you have a mobile version, and then you have the desktop version. Desktop, it could look beautiful, but on mobile, sometimes you have to scroll way down in order to actually view the A+ content. And what have you seen that counteract those? And how do you usually structure your A+ content?
Yeah, so the A+ content is also, the mobile's unfortunately, the way it's showing the picture, but at least for the desktop, it's obviously we usually try to have like the branding banner on top, which is like your logo and maybe like a picture of the product and like a nice title, like what it does, like an introduction, and then you continue going like with a nice big banner of a lifestyle on how the product is being used. Then like a strip of all the features, it's very clear and written in this. And me personally, we don't like to fill up the whole A+ with so many content and wording, because people don't have time to read. People read with graphics, like with the eyes. So we try to focus more on the graphic part and add like nice, beautiful lifestyles and some good titles, like short to the point. And then we continue with the 3 more small images, which that basically makes a difference in mobile and desktop, which is like on desktop it's like a nice strip of 3 small images, which over there we focus on presenting the features, like the zoomed in features of the product, or specific features. And if it's a complicated product, it's more like an advanced product, you need like two rows of 3 small images explaining all the other features, and then on the bottom like a nice like a footer, like with a call to action and like the branding, like sort of finishing.
Yeah. Usually the way I structure my A+ content is I start out with maybe some product specific features, and I might have the brand name on top, and then go into why someone may want the product. I try to answer all potential questions: who, what, where, when, why, kind of thing. Who would buy this product? Why would they buy this product? What would be the reason they buy the product? And I try to answer that within the A+ content. And at the very bottom, I might put the story of that brand and why that brand stands out and what makes them unique on Amazon from the other competitors. And that's how I tend to structure my A+ content, to really adapt it for the customer experience, to make it where it performs better, and that way you get more conversion from that, is how I try to structure my A+ content.
Right, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, so basically what I'm saying, like the footer, we just try to focus on the brand versus the product. So like a story and why, like this 3 or 4 main points about your brand, not about the product, about your brand, like why people should trust your brand versus others.
Yeah. And when you're doing your back end keywords, how are you doing that? I use Helium 10 to do my back end keyword research and kind of go in and put that on the back end. How does that process, how do you go through that process of creating that keyword research process?
Yeah, so obviously a big part of creating the listing is doing the keyword research, not only for the back end, but for the front end as well. So basically what we do is, in general, I guess some products are different categories, but in general, we take the main keywords that the customers have to see, not only the algorithm, but the customer have to see. We put it in the title and the bullet points, and some of them in the description, but mainly the title and bullet points, and the rest of them, which are not, it's also relevant to the product, but it's not so important for customers to see. We leave it for the search terms. And in the section, we also try to focus on keywords that are related to your product, but it's not specifically your product. So for example, I don't know. So let's say you're selling pens. I don't have to put in the pens because I have it here. So let's say saying you're having pens. You want to put it. You want to put in the search terms anything that relates to pen, like even paper or pencil. And the same things with cutlery, for example. If you're selling spoons, you want to have forks in there as well. Even though your customers are not looking for a fork, but usually customers are looking for like similar products. It's similar to like when you walk into the local grocery store, you can always see like the old products all in the same family are always together, because when a customer wants to buy a spoon, they usually want to buy forks as well. It's like you always put it together. So the same thing is with this one in the search terms. You want to put in similar keywords so that a customer can, when searches that keyword, say, "Oh, by the way, I also I need forks and spoons, so let me buy both." So it's like and obviously then the secondary keywords, which is like the language, like usually we do like the Spanish and the misspelling words, like that's basically the main composition.
Yeah, and then there's like also like I'm in the category listing report a lot, just the back end report. How relevant are like platinum search terms and all those other fields in there? How relevant are those still? To be putting in keywords in there. Do you still do that, or is it not relevant anymore?
No, honestly, we used to do it because we tried to provide a lot of value, but then we realized, through a lot of testing, we realized that we're just wasting, time, and there's no real point in doing it when it doesn't really do anything. So, basically, when you go into the back end of a listing on Seller Central, you can see so many fields that are there. Some of them are not really related to your product, like to your category, but I guess for some reason they just leave it there. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're not updating it or they're not like on top of it, but meaning to say that not every field that you see there is really important and necessary to spend your time on or money.
And the item type keyword, as we know, that's probably pretty important because that's the
Yeah, that's
the I don't know how to say it, the main keyword. I don't know how to like phrase it, but how do you choose the item type keyword to basically adapt it to how do you pick your item type keyword for the highest relevant and to make it where the most customers end up seeing the product?
right. So that's sometimes challenging depending on the product. Some products are very obvious because that's the product, but if a product can be called many different names, that's when we have to really do the research and decide on one, because you can't put many. So you have to decide on one that they have the best feeling about, and according to the research and the results. But sometimes Amazon is like, I don't know, not forcing you, but it's like they give you like a suggestion. And for example, especially when you do it with uploading the upload file, the template, by the item type keyword, when you click on it, they give you like a suggestion according to the category that you chose. So sometimes you can't really change it or whatever, but and sometimes they're pretty good suggestions. But in most cases, the keywords that you put in the title that you focus on, that should also be there.
How do you end up picking your categories for the particular Amazon? Like some people want to pick categories that are maybe super relevant, but also want to pick categories that there's not a lot of competition and there's less products, so they're a higher bestseller rank, and making it where they get more traction that way. What is your thoughts on choosing your category? Do you go for relevancy? Do you go for less competition? Because as we know, those are two really important factors. What do you tend to go after?
Yeah, so that's also something that Amazon recently updated, that they because they know that some sellers try to take advantage of the low competitive categories. They always put it in this, because so to rank faster to to have a chance to rank faster to the number one bestseller. But I think lately on many listings they are changing the category automatically. Like if you chose one category and they feel like it's not relevant or whatever, they can either suppress your listing or just change your category automatically. So that's why we try not to focus too much on it. We usually try to take the most relevant, and that's how that the listing is good, and that's what Amazon wants. And they're not going to suppress the listing, and they're not going to change the category, because the problem is that once a listing starts to pick up and the category gets changed, all the rankings drop. So it's like it gets messed up. So it's not good.
Yeah, that's great. And when you're designing from the category to the storefront, how do you usually? Because for my clients, I don't really see a lot of traction on my storefronts. I know they recently added Amazon posts to the storefronts and everything else, but I don't see a lot of traffic end up going there. How do you typically design your storefronts to make it where more people convert?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when we design a storefront, we try to make it like the most unique and the best looking for the best conversion. Because right now, I mean, it's pretty new, so that's why it's not so picked up yet. Like, not every customer knows about the storefront. I mean, we sellers are very familiar with it, but regular customers, they don't know that they have to go into the brand name and really go through the storefront. Because after all, when you go on Amazon, you're looking for something. You're not looking only on one brand, and you want to go through it. You have time to go through their storefront and all the pages, because they have to go through so many listings in order to choose one. But the storefront is more like it has many benefits besides that, which is basically if let's say you decide you want to go to this with this brand, but you still need like one more push. So if you see like a brand has like a beautiful storefront, you know that this is a real established brand, and you can trust them because they put in a lot of work and effort to make it look good. And also all those benefits that Amazon keeps on adding, like the posts and the following. It sounds like they want to turn it into like another social media shopping site, I guess. So
Yeah.
that I guess in the long term it's probably going to be more popular in this, but I guess it's growing, it's building up.
Yeah, definitely. And I hope we'll eventually get more traction on like Amazon posts and everything else, and the storefronts and everything else like that. But I think that's something that's just going to happen in the future. And also, with your giveaway process, is something that I do all the time as well. Do you do it through Rebate Key? And I'd also love to hear what kind of URLs you're using right now, because I've been using Supreme URLs right now through Pixelfy, and those have been working all right. I'm just curious on what that process looks like and what you've been doing.
Yeah, so since we have our own program, like our own giveaway program, obviously we can't use competitors, which is Rebate Key and stuff. So we have our own program, which is we try to be unique, because the problem with Rebate Key and other platforms is it's very public. Like it's a few things. It's very public. Like a lot of sellers, they don't like to publicize their listings, especially among other sellers. And our program is like very private. So for example, if someone sends us an order, it's only between us, like in house. So it's not like it's going on the public websites where everyone can see your products and stuff, and also what you're doing when you're doing giveaways. Because it's also a way for competitors to see when your competitors are running giveaways. So then, oh, he's running giveaways, now I have to do it as well, like whatever. So everything's like private. So your competitors have no idea what you're doing and how you get the number one bestseller. But yeah, so that's regarding the program that we use. But regarding the URL, we keep on changing because we have to follow Amazon's trends. Because so in most cases we try to use the manual search, which is like it should look like a real customer. So we have our members, our buyers, go into Amazon, search for the keyword the seller provides, and find the listing and go through the listing. It's basically feel like a real sale, a real customer. So Amazon shouldn't trigger any of this. So in most cases, it looks like a real sale. So that's why it's so powerful and so effective. And because that's actually that's actually the only thing that really helps with the ranking, which is real organic sales. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and like it sounds like you're doing a search, find, buy process, which is the most efficient way to do it. Just because like it's untraceable basically from Amazon standpoint, so it's probably the best way to go about it. The only thing where I would see like worry, I guess, is when like how Amazon really cracks down on reviews, when the reviews come from the same place. Like for example, if you go tell all your family members to go leave a review on your product, Amazon somehow knows, and then they take down the reviews. So that's the only thing I would see by using a giveaway program with a specific amount of people. Is the only way I would see it.
Right. So that's why we try not to focus on reviews. We when a client reaches out to us, we tell them clearly that this is not for reviews. This is only for ranking.
Yeah.
If you want, you can order reviews. So let's say if you do like 200 giveaways and you want like 10 out of those 200 people to write reviews, it has to make sense according to the sales. velocity, so percentage wise. So that's when it's not so risky. And obviously we have special accounts but we try not to focus on the reviews. It's more for the ranking. And
The
you know.
reason why I don't use like Rebate Key and all these other platforms is because
Mhm.
they're not as scalable as I like. Because usually when a client says like wants to start with a rebate program, they go like, "Hey, I want to do this on an enormous scale." We're talking about like doing that, like giving away thousands of products per month to really scale, and we can't really necessarily do that within a certain giveaway number program. Is usually why we have to go public and do Facebook ads most of the time to really scale it. And that's the only reason why I haven't been using Rebate Key and all these other giveaway programs, is because of that process, and because it hasn't been very scalable for me. Because once my clients start, they don't want to stop. So it's made it where I have to basically do the trade-off of making it public.
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Um, is there anything else that you would recommend, either with the giveaways or recommendations of each Amazon seller, or what you like? Maybe you see that a lot of Amazon sellers making this one mistake, and something that you would fix, or any recommendations you would give to an Amazon seller that they should be doing to increase their sales.
No, it's basically a puzzle, you know. Sometimes on Amazon, so for example, for my service, people ask me like, if I'm gonna spend this amount of money and read my title and bullet points, how much is my sales going to increase? So I usually tell them. I mean, I don't tell them zero, but the meaning to say that the success on a listing doesn't really depend only on one aspect. It's like a puzzle. You have to make sure that every piece of the puzzle is put together, and then you can see if it's a valuable product, and then you can start seeing results. If you spend on one thing and then you're like, I don't want to call it stingy, but you hold back on another thing, you know, it's not gonna you can't expect the results. So you have to make sure that every part of the puzzle is put together, starting from the content, from the keywords, and the main image and the secondary images. I don't know if you spoke about the secondary images. But anyway, it's just like
I don't think we talked about
infographics.
secondary images yet. You're talking about the infographics?
Yeah, the infographics and the lifestyle photos, which is also like basically to make it quick, like, the secondary image is more like to give customers a feel like they're going walking into the store and touching the product and seeing the product. And especially the infographic is also for a customer that, I mean, like me, I don't like to read, so I don't like to go through the title, the bullet points, and description, all this text. I like to look at the pictures, see the few infographics, and I see exactly what the product is, and I make the decision on that. And the lifestyle is as I said, like the feeling of walking into a store, because you see how it's being used, like the size. You see, basically when you buy, you know exactly what to expect. Obviously, if it's done right. So yeah, so that's also part of the puzzle. You have to make sure the main image and the secondary images and the A plus content and the storefront and the giveaways and the advertising and all together, and then you can see and expect them.
Yep, and you got to get everything right, all in one go. Do you do any advertising? Is there any advertising optimizations or guidance that you would give to Amazon sellers as well?
No, so I mean, back in the days, I used to work in advertising, but I try not to focus on it because I'm not really like a numbers guy. I'm more like the creative when it comes to picture, content, that kind of stuff. But so that's why I don't like to offer everything, and I like to focus on what I'm good at and be the best at it. So PPC is not my strength, and numbers are not my this. So I usually recommend other great companies out there that specialize in PPC, and we work together, like, you know, because I usually refer my clients. I want the best for them, so I make sure that instead of offering them and charging them money and making more money, I'd rather give it to someone else that I work with and know that they get the best results.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, the creative aspect is really important on Amazon. Just the fact that you can tell a story. I hate reading. Like I like despise reading in every single way. So I'm a very graphical person. So I'm definitely down. I like seeing and like visualizing everything. Infographics are critical and everything else. Is there any other creative aspect that other people need to be doing, like within the infographics, like what the best structure is for infographics, or any other graphical elements that any other people need to be using?
So regarding the infographics, I mean, obviously it has to be a combination of everything, which is one picture should be like a combination of all the features combined, like all the main features combined, and then have separate images of the main features. So for example, obviously the size is very important because the customer wants to see what he's getting, like how big is it, like so the dimensions should be very focused. And that if your product has like a very special feature, for example, back to this pen again, this one has like a feature that has like the how do you call it, like the stylus pen for the phones or the smartphones. And then when you click on it, it comes to the pen. So you have two in one. So it's very important to show it off in the picture because otherwise the customer are not going to see it from the main image like so clearly. So basically to zoom in the main features like this one and this one, like basically a customer should know exactly what a product has by zooming it in and focusing on it. So that's that, and then it's the lifestyle. So the lifestyle you can do like a combination of lifestyle and infographics together. Like you put like a nice lifestyle, like the pen is sitting in a nice pen holder, sitting on a desk, and then writing that it fits in any pen holder. Like I mean, like I'm just throwing whatever. So meaning to say that it should explain the lifestyle, what it is, what it is.
Yeah, that's really great. Is there any other recommendations or tips that you would like to mention before we sign off for the day?
No, I mean in general, Amazon. You have to understand that Amazon these days in 2021, an Amazon business is a real business. It's not like it used to be like a side hustle where you can just have a job or whatever and then do Amazon on the side, focus on it 2 hours a day. These days, it's a real business. You really have to focus on it and put all your money and effort on it, and make sure that you have the money to invest to compete with all the sellers that are already there for years. And you have to go fully in, not test maybe this and that. No, you have to go fully in. This is your business and this is your future, and jump all in.
Yeah, totally agree. It's not one of those things. Amazon, you can't just like let it roll anymore. It's not like that. It's you gotta always be activating it. Well, Mac, thank you for your time today. It was great having you on. We got a lot of valuable. Hope a lot of Amazon sellers got a lot of value out of it. And thanks for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It was a great experience, and it was great an honor to talk to you in general. And I guess we'll keep in touch, and hopefully your audience and your viewers will get some value out of it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Signing off, guys.